Welcome to our channel, everyone. It's amazing to have you with us. I'm so excited about today's topic. Look, I've mentored thousands of people in my career, and I've been studying success for over 10 years now. And you know what I've noticed? I've noticed all the highly successful people that I've mentored and all the things that are common in all the books that I've read and listened to is that there is 7 characteristics and traits that all successful people either develop or have. In today's video, we're gonna break down what each of those 7 are and how we can improve in all these areas. The first one, you have to be open-minded and willing to change. If you're just open-minded but not willing to change, nothing happens. You have to be open-minded and willing to change. Look, in this day and age, with how technology is going, AI and all these things that are coming, you cannot afford to be a closed-minded person. Nothing will kill you more in the marketplace than being closed-minded with how fast things are moving and changing. One of the best stories that embodies how important it is to be open-minded and act on the new information we receive or the new ways we can do things is the Blockbuster and Netflix story. Blockbuster in the year 2000 had the opportunity to buy Netflix for $50 million. And back then, Blockbuster was the king. Netflix was the new kid in town trying to shake things up. And all the Blockbuster executives looked at Netflix and they're like, no, people are not gonna wanna rent movies by ordering them online or watching them online. They like the feeling of walking into the rental movie place and looking at the CDs and discs together and choosing it. They actually thought that that's part of the customer service experience that they were providing. And at the time, because they were at the top, they were the #1 company, they didn't have a reason to change in their mind. And they thought the market should adjust to us, not the other way around. So they choose to be comfortable instead of changing, buying Netflix and adopting their whole structure within their business. So guess what happened? Now, Netflix is worth $170 billion and Blockbuster is nowhere to be seen. So if there was one story that you're gonna take that's gonna make you be more open-minded and more willing to change, let it be this one. Do not allow your comfortable state, your need of staying the same, keep you from making the changes necessary to take you to the next level. Be open-minded and willing to change. Here's number 2. They're all competitive. The highly successful people are all very competitive. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Well, Nima, I'm just not one of those people. I'm not a competitive person. You're wrong. There is no way that you or your genes have survived up to this point where you're watching this video without there being a competitive gene within you. Every human being on the planet today has a competitive gene within them. Sure, some have it much more enhanced than others, but everyone has it. So then you might be wondering, well, Nima, then what is the difference between someone who's super competitive and someone who's not? Other than maybe some genetic variation, the main difference is this. The person who's not competitive, quote unquote, doesn't believe they can win. So they've programmed themselves to not compete so they can keep themselves from feeling the pain of loss. The person who seems very competitive or is very competitive believes they can win. So they choose to compete because they want to get the recognition and benefits that come from the winning. But here's the truth. Competition is not even about winning. Competition is about wanting to win. You might be thinking, well, Nima, what do you mean by that? Look, my favorite quote by Vince Lombardi. Winning isn't everything, but wanting to win is. Why is that such a crucial quote? Because look, even sometimes you do your best, you give it everything you got, and you still don't win. Because winning, in a lot of cases, can be out of your control in the way that things play out, in the way your competition goes about things, in the way that the events kind of roll out. But here's the one thing that all of us have 100% in our control. We can control how bad we want to win. And why is it important for us to want to win? Because by wanting to win, it forces you to bring the best version of you out. By wanting to win, it forces you to stretch your limits and stretch your capabilities, especially when somebody's ahead of you in that competition or doing better. Because you look at that person and we go, if that human being can do that, why can't I? So it stretches your vision and stretches your limits. Here's another thing that wanting to win does. It forces you to learn and grow. See, if you truly want to win, you will learn new things that you wouldn't have learned otherwise. If you truly want to win, you'll bring out a version of you that maybe you didn't think was out there. So it puts you in a circumstance that makes you want to get better. And here's the last thing that wanting to win does. It allows you to compete with the most important person you will ever compete with in your life, yourself. See, competition is meant to make you better, not bitter. But the only way we can allow competition to make us better instead of bitter is if we change our perspective on it. If you look at a competition as an opportunity for you to get embarrassed, for you to lose, for someone to put you down, then you're never going to want to compete. But if you look at competition as an opportunity for you to stretch your limits, like we spoke about, for you to stretch your capabilities, and for you to be put in an environment that forces you to learn and change in ways that you wouldn't have otherwise, then your point of view on competition is going to be positive. And you know, I'll tell you this from my own experience, I've never had that much fun when I went into something just wanting to have fun. I had the most fun when I went into it to have fun and to want to compete and win. Because competition is fun. It brings out the best version of me. It makes me compete in the best ways that I possibly can. So train this competitive muscle within yourself. Start competing, even if it's small things. And look at how much of a difference you see within yourself as you begin to compete, rather than just watch as an outsider clapping for the competitors that are competing. Here's number 3. Practice delayed gratification. There was an experiment done years and years and years and years ago where they took some kids and they put them in a room and they gave each kid a marshmallow. And these kids loved marshmallows. What they told each kid was, we're going to give you this marshmallow now. If you don't eat it and wait for 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long the time was, we're going to come back and give you another marshmallow. But if you do eat it, you don't get another marshmallow. So they put these marshmallows on a table. Each kid sat there anxiously waiting. Some of them ate it right away. Some of them ate it after 5 minutes. Some of them ate it after 10 minutes. Some of them didn't eat it at all and waited to get the second marshmallow. 40 years later, they went and looked at these kids' lives. And what they found was that the ones that waited for the second marshmallow were more successful in almost all different domains of life compared to the ones that ate the marshmallow right away. Why? Because success without the ability to delay gratification is impossible. Everything that you want, everything that I want, takes time. If you want to have a healthy body, it takes time to develop that healthy body. You got to have a great diet for a long time. You got to exercise hard for a long time. And eventually you'll get the results that you're looking for. If you want to build a successful business and become wealthy, it's going to take many years before you learn what you need to learn and develop what you need to develop. And even if you learn and develop those things quick, it's still going to take time for the marketplace to reward you. Most businesses take 2, 3, 4, 5 years even to become profitable. So if you don't have this delayed gratification characteristic developed within yourself, you're going to quit too soon. And when you quit too soon, you never achieve what you want. But if you develop the ability to delay gratification and you work out this muscle within yourself, success is inevitable. It just takes time for life to give you what you deserve. And you won't quit because you have delayed gratification as a part of your being. Here's number 4, being courageous. If you look around you at all the inventions that we have around us, great inventors did not only come up with the ideas. Many people may have come up with these ideas before. Many people before the Wright Brothers may have already come up with the idea of flying. But you know what made the Wright Brothers? Is their willingness to go against the status quo. It's their willingness to stand in front of people who laughed at them and made fun of them for this idea of wanting to fly planes in the air, and believing in their vision and believing in their capabilities versus allowing someone else to deter them based on their limitations. Remember something. When people tell you you can't do something, when people tell you you can't be successful at it, they're not actually talking to you. They're reflecting their own lack of confidence and lack of beliefs onto you. When somebody says you can't be successful in business, it's because they don't believe they can be successful in business. And because they think everyone is like them, they don't think you can do it either. But in order to be a successful person, you can't allow that to deter you. You have to be someone that is more result-oriented than social validation-oriented. You see, a lot of us have a higher desire of being liked and being accepted than we do of actually wanting to help people and get results. You say, well, Nima, don't the two go together? They don't. Usually it's actually the other way. Because in order for the Wright brothers to help us and allow us to fly, they had to have a lot of people ridicule them for a very long time. They had to have a lot of people make fun of them for a very long time. I'm sure many of their friends stopped talking to them. I'm sure many family members said, if you keep going after this crazy idea of yours, we're not going to want to associate with you again. But because they were courageous, because they were visionaries, they stuck to their guns and they were able to invent what we call planes now and flying every day. And all of us, every time we fly, we got to think for a moment of how grateful we are for those Wright brothers for being courageous, for not giving into their need of social validation and instead giving into their vision. So courage is huge when it comes to success. Because if you're going to do something that none of your associations have done, you got to have the courage to stand in front of them. When I chose to drop out of university, I promise you, everyone told me that it's a stupid idea. But I had the courage to go down that path because I knew why I was making that decision and I knew where it was going to lead. And even back then, I knew that if I prove them wrong and I show that school isn't the only way, then it's going to change the whole dynamic of a lot of the people around me. And maybe they'll discover things that they're passionate about that doesn't align with the status quo of becoming an engineer, lawyer, doctor, etc. Courage, courage, courage. Make sure you have it. If you don't, develop it. How do you develop courage? Face your fears. The more fears you face, the less fears you will have. And the more you program your mind to go towards fear rather than away from it. Here's the next one. Act based on commitments, not feelings. Successful people act based on their commitments. They don't act based on their feelings. Many times, I don't feel like doing the things that I need to do. I don't feel like necessarily going to the gym sometimes. I don't feel like running my business sometimes. I don't feel like filming content sometimes. But guess what? I've trained my mind to act based on the commitments that I've made to myself and the promises that I've made to myself and other people, not based on my feelings. And if you've seen my video on motivation, on dopamine, then you'll know. Dopamine is released after action is taken, not before. So if you're waiting for yourself to feel motivated before you take action, you probably never will be. But if you train your mind to act first, that the dopamine will be released after, and your mind learns that, hey, even if we don't feel like doing things, if we act on them anyways, we're going to feel like it later on. Many times I go to the gym, I don't feel like working out, but I start hitting my reps. I start going through the motions. And as I do, guess what? I start feeling like working out more. I start getting that excitement in me. I start to feel the testosterone, and I end up having an amazing workout. But what if I chose to go based on my feelings and stay home? Then I would be training my mind to act based on my feelings, not commitments. And feelings don't build businesses, feelings don't build wealth, and feelings don't give you what you want. So start acting on your commitments, not on your feelings. Here's number 6. You gotta develop the right belief systems. Our beliefs shape everything that we do in our lives. It shapes our identity, it shapes our behaviors, it shapes everything. The question is, are the beliefs that you have helping you or hindering you? You know, a lot of people that have a lot of financial problems or don't end up building wealth have a belief instilled in them that rich people are bad. How did that belief come to be? Well, they might have had parents who weren't rich, who weren't wealthy, and maybe those parents felt guilty about it. So instead of telling their kids, hey, the reason I'm not rich, the reason I'm not wealthy is because I didn't do this, and if you do, you can be rich. You know what they tell them? Honey, the reason we're not rich is because rich people are bad. Rich people scam people. Rich people hurt people. Now, the kid that's listening to that doesn't know anything. They just trust and love the parents, and they assume that what their parents is telling them is true. So they adopt that belief that rich people are bad, that rich people hurt people. Now, does anyone want to be bad or hurt people? No. So why would that kid ever want to be rich? So instead of doing anything to make themselves rich, you know what they do? They actually end up doing the opposite. Subconsciously, they self-sabotage their success. That's a great example of a belief that ends up deteriorating people. Because let me share something. If you're one of those parents, or if you're one of those kids that heard those from your parents, if you're a good person, you have to get rich. If you're a good person, you have to get rich. Because if your belief is that rich people are bad, and that rich people that are bad are going to do bad things, then if you're a good person, shouldn't you get rich so you can compete against those bad people and stop them from doing the bad things? Shouldn't you get rich so you can donate money to all the charities that you believe in that help people? So if you truly believe this, then you got to get rich more than anyone else. Because if you're a great person, which I believe you are, you have to get rich to make the world a better place. I'd rather have good people having guns than bad people. And money is like ammo in the marketplace. So the more ammo someone has, the more they can do with it. So if you're a good person, please get more ammo, get more money, and do better things and move the world in that better place. But you gotta adopt better beliefs. Here are some beliefs that I adopted and that I teach my mentees, the people that I'm mentoring, that I'm coaching, to adopt as well. Here's one of them. Everything happens for me, not to me. Why do I have this belief? Because then every time something happens, I react in a positive way. Instead of reacting from a victim point of view, I react from a hero point of view. Here's another belief that I have. If you are not failing, you are not growing. If I'm not failing, I'm not growing. What does that belief allow me to do? It allows me to go towards failure instead of hide away from it. It allows me to allow failure to make me better, not make me bitter. It allows me to learn from my mistakes, not be resentful because of them. Here's another belief that I have. I can accomplish whatever I set my mind to. I truly believe that whatever I set my mind to, I can accomplish it. With enough time, with enough mentorship, with enough coaching, with enough resources, I can truly achieve whatever I set my mind to. And I don't believe this just for myself. I believe that every human being can achieve whatever they set their mind to. That's what makes me a great mentor. If I didn't believe in people, if I didn't believe that human beings are capable, how would I be able to mentor and coach them in a way that drives that belief and energy into them? Here's another belief that I have, that I have to take 100% responsibility for all areas of my life. Because victims don't become victors. Only heroes become victors. And the only way for me to have victory in my life, for me to have success in my life, I have to have the ability to take 100% responsibility for it. You know what that means? That means even in the events that it seems totally out of my control, I still find a way to take responsibility. And it's been proven. People who feel like they're in control are happier than people that aren't. And the only way you can feel in control is if you take 100% responsibility for everything in your life. And from that point of view, you can actually make changes. Remember something. You can only change the things that you're responsible for. You cannot change the things that someone else is responsible for. So I truly adopt this belief, and it's helped me create the life that I have. And I've taught other people that I'm mentoring to adopt these beliefs, and it's helped them get all the results they want in their life. And these are just a few. There's many others. But make sure you're developing the right belief system. Don't let your past programming dictate your future. Take control over it and change it. And I have many videos. I have a video called The Only Way to Change Your Life, where in that video, I go into the full details of how to change your belief system. So if you want to know more information on this, please watch that video and I'll give you all the insight. Here's the last one. Last but definitely not least. Actually, this one is the most important because this one actually encompasses all the things that I've mentioned before this. Individuals who are highly, highly successful in any area of their life have developed a high EQ. They have developed high emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the number one factor amongst all successful people, especially when they've already met the bare minimum of threshold for IQ. Here's one thing that you should always keep in mind. EQ eat IQ for lunch every single day when it comes to success. And the best news about this is, unlike IQ, EQ can actually be developed and changed. And I have a video, a full 25-30 minute video where I break down what exactly EQ is, why it's so important in relation to IQ, and how every individual can develop a higher EQ than what they already have. So if you enjoyed this video, please click right here once the video is done and watch the full video on EQ and really start establishing all the things that I've talked about. Thank you for watching. Excited to see you on the next video.